Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell at the top so you can be notified when we drop new content. The great debate, we got Islam rematching Charles Oliveira. I'm going to be completely honest. I was going for Charles the first time. That fight made me sick to my stomach the way it played out because Islam did what he was supposed to do. I'm not hating on Islam, but he looked so good in that fight. I never want to see him fight Charles again. Honestly, I think I saw everything I needed to see.
And we was praying that Benil was going to beat Charles.
I know I wasn't. I wanted Charles to win, but
but we need the Benil to beat Charles so he can fight Islam. You get what I'm saying?
I never want Charles to lose, but I just...
But we need the best person to fight Islam because Islam, he keeps fighting people who he can beat. You get what I'm saying? If he never fights any of these guys, then we're not going to ever know if the hype is real or not.
Because we still don't know. I mean, he only got one fight that we can really count towards him. On his whole win streak, the only fight that counted is Charles.
Well, one thing is when Charles said that he wouldn't change anything that he did in the first fight, it kind of have me guessing like, hold on, you made so many mistakes. You did so many things wrong. You wouldn't change any of that.
I mean, you need to change all of that. I mean, you need a time machine.
He was trying to take down Islam. It looked like he was trying to take down a refrigerator. Like he wasn't having no luck. It looked like he was trying to take down like a machine or something, man. Like
Islam is a machine. What you talking about?
Hey,
That's his nickname.
When Islam was training, he said he gets heart rate up to 220 beats per minute. I was like, who gonna beat this guy, man?
When I heard that, man, I'm like, oh man.
I need Charles to have a game plan. But I think Charles, he said that. I don't think he meant that. It might sound kind of weird, but I think he just said that. Gets people's head. Dude, sometimes you can say that, dude, and then your opponent can underestimate you.
I wouldn't be surprised if this second fight plays out exactly like the first one. And I don't want that to happen. Don't get me wrong. But in my brain, I don't see nothing different. The only thing I will say, this fight is different because Charles now has seen Islam
in trouble,
looking human. Because Volk, I don't want to say he exposed him because just because Volk can do it don't mean anybody can do it. In fact, just because Volk can do anything, nobody other than him might be able to do it, if we're being completely honest. So we can't even really look at Volk and say, oh, well, Volk made him look. But as a fighter, I know Charles looked at certain things and said, oh, if I can drop him, I can definitely submit him when I get on the ground. Maybe Charles messed up by trying to out-wrestle him. You know what I mean? Too soon or something. I don't know. Maybe if he'd have survived to the next round, things would have turned around because Volk had more success later in the fight as he realized.
Volk was able to get him into later rounds. I think Charles is going to have to fight him like he did Tony Ferguson. Like a more of a stay on the outside and just control the distance.
But Islam's hands look spectacular.
Did they though?
He dropped him first before he
dropped him, man, but it was Charles going in crazy like that.
But when you drop somebody, you look spectacular.
I understand, but I'm saying the only thing he was doing was countering. I'm not taking nothing away from Islam. It seemed like it was more so Charles making mistakes than Islam.
Yeah, but I have to bet, at the very least, if the first fight, if there's two versions that can show up of each fighter, the version of Charles who can win, and even the version of Charles that wins the other fights, he was getting dropped. He got dropped by Justin. He got dropped by Dustin. He got dropped by Michael. So we know that Charles might get dropped, even if he wins. But if I know Islam, at the very least, can just counter him when it's most important, in the pivotal moments, I still got to kind of pick Islam because at least if you could just do that much, you know, even a Charles that win, he might get dropped, man. So the thing is, I'm still going for Charles, but I would say this. Volkanovski's IQ allowed him to make it that far. Volkanovski's IQ separates him from every other fighter. The things he can do, like I said, he ain't in there getting dropped a whole bunch. Charles, even when he wins, he still hit the canvas a few times. Can Charles avoid taking damage to make it later in the fight? That's what I'm concerned about.
But at the same time, I was saying Volk would never win a decision over Islam. And when I say he would never win, I don't think it's because he's not winning the fight. I just don't think the judges, for whatever reason, are going to give Volk the decision. Because one judge gave it 49-46.
Message!
So my point is, maybe that style may be what works to beat Islam, even though it didn't work the first time. In the second fight, maybe that finishing approach, kill or be killed, might work. It's a gamble. It's like you're rolling dice. Maybe it's a chance that you can get the job done.
But the difference is, if Volk drops you, I mean, I know he did it to Yair, but I think he put Yair away just to get him out of the equation. Just
the conversation.
Okay, now I don't have to deal with this no more. I took you serious, but keep it moving. You might be a champion one day, but not as long as I'm here. But other than that, Volk has been like a decision guy. He can kind of beat you down and get you, break you down and stuff like that for 25 minutes. Korean Zombie had no business in there. That's why that fight didn't go a decision. But the difference is, if Charles was to drop Islam, there's a lot that Charles can do. Volkanovski, that ain't his skill set. You know what I mean? You definitely don't want to be getting dropped by Charles and on the ground and on your back, looking up at the clock.
You want to tell you why I think Islam gonna win, and this is not my prediction.
Oh God.
I think Islam gonna win because
I know I'm not gonna be able to disagree with whatever you say here.
I think Islam is gonna win this fight against Charles because that's all he's focusing on. You know what I mean? He ain't focused on somebody else. He definitely ain't focused on Volk.
That's not true because he can't stop hearing about Volkanovski, and he still.
No, but I'm saying he don't want to fight Volk though. He been avoiding.
But he was trying to fight Leon. He was trying to fight Leon. But now Leon has.
I'm saying, but he knows Charles is the next guy up. You know what I mean? So I think Charles is kind of on his mind. I don't think Volk is on his mind. You gotta understand, he's a lightweight champion. What other fighter in the lightweight division is even worth mentioning their name other than Conor McGregor?
The winner of Dustin and Justin. But you know they finna take a beat down.
I'm saying, but he gonna focus on that when that time comes. They still gotta fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Charles is somebody that he's the next man up. He's a former champion. I think he's always been in the back of Islam's mind. Because he ain't focused on nobody else like Volk. So I'm saying that's why I think he's focusing more on Charles and Charles focusing on Islam.
Man, I hope that.
Another thing is he spent $1 million on his training camp the first fight. It's like, God dang.
Man, that's like when LeBron said he spent $1 million on like his health and recovery. Like just spend $1 million on his body throughout the year. That's gonna be tough to deal with for anybody, man.
But this would be crazy if this fight get to the 4th round, 5th round. Wouldn't it be crazy?
Yeah, but they fighting in Abu Dhabi. I don't like that, man. I think.
No, I don't mean the decision. I'm
just saying. I'm saying, dude, I believe in having the hometown advantage sometimes, man. You already fought that man over there one time. Why would you backdoor and do the same thing again? No, I will fight you in Brazil or I'll fight you in Vegas. I will not be going across there because you need the energy of a hometown crowd, man. Like you already then gave him an advantage one time. Well, I don't want to say an advantage, but it was an advantage. You already gave him the hometown advantage once. Why would you backdoor and give him the hometown advantage again? I don't like that, man. I believe in you splitting the fights like that. Oh, but then again, Islam did win the first time, so he get to make the call about that. It ain't like Charles had no say so.
But he was making the call before he even won the fight.
And I think that was the first misstep. That was the first misstep. Is sometimes you gotta.
But this do get interesting after this Charles fight, man. It gets very interesting
because the winner gotta fight the winner of Dustin and Justin. I'm gonna say this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it. If Islam loses, he don't get no trilogy. You don't deserve a trilogy. I hope he know that. For money purposes, he probably will be getting a trilogy. But if he loses, bro, he don't deserve it because you didn't beat no top 10 people to get there in the first place, other than a champion.
A trilogy, dude. Charles didn't get no rematch. Remember?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like if Charles was the actual champion and had defended it and everything, and really he was supposed to have more title defenses, but the weight cut thing. So it's like if anybody deserved a rematch, it was Charles. So if Charles didn't get no rematch, he had to fight somebody else to get back into contention.
I think that's why he bought time. Islam trying to buy time. So then if he do lose, then he can have some kind of leverage. So, oh yeah, I've been champion 2 years.
Man, I
want a rematch.
You know what's so weird, man? Back in the day, we would never be sitting around talking about stuff like this. They would have already had a rematch. You know what I'm saying? They would have already had a rematch if they was gonna have one. But it seemed like a weird thing with all the fights that we want to see with the top fighters. It's like we're not seeing them like that no more. It's like everybody's scared to lose, and especially undefeated people or people with close to undefeated records. They kind of want everybody else to fight each other, and then they want to cherry pick who's at the top. No, the rankings go like this. These guys work their way into the top 10, then they try to work into the top 5, and so on and so forth. And then as those guys make their way to being the number 1 contender, you have to fight them. You don't get to make the most dangerous people keep fighting each other until they lose, and that way you can kind of avoid people. No, if they earn their number 1 spot and they knock the next guy off, or a guy lose his title fight, the next guy up get a chance. You don't get to just keep making killers fight killers.
But the UFC, they force certain fighters to defend their belt.
I know.
But then other fighters, they let them cherry pick who they want to fight when they want to fight them.
Chris Weidman did that. A few people did that.
So I don't think that's fair. Every champion, either they all get the cherry pick or none of them do. You know what I mean? I don't like that.
Well, let us know what y'all think in the comments.